Right then, before we start, just two quick things. Number one, there are no best settings for all players. Let's just dispel that myth, okay? This is a guide to help you to find your best settings. So don't just copy someone else. Find what works for you. This also means this is going to be a very long video because there are so many settings. That's why I thought this would be a good idea, because it can be very confusing for new players, etc. And also, saying etc., that leads me on to point number two. I say things like etc. a lot in this video, I've realized. I apologize. It's probably really annoying. Just try to ignore it. It's hard to do all this live. Alright? Okay, I hope this video helps. Enjoy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. I'm Get Good Guy. Firestorm has been released for Battlefield 5, and so lots of you want to know which settings you should be using. I'll be going through what I use and my recommendations for console, so this is specifically for console, although some of it will apply to PC as well if you want a few tips if you're on PC. The only way for me to do this is to do it live, really, so there will be a few cuts here and there, but I'll try and keep it consistent overall, just so you don't lose track of what I'm doing. Some of this will have a direct impact upon you playing Firestorm, but a lot of it will also just be for the main multiplayer in Battlefield 5, so this is a Firestorm settings guide, and also I guess an updated BF5 multiplayer settings guide. So let's jump right into this. We'll go to the settings over here and go with controls. Now keep in mind, as I say, I'm doing this live and I do have a throat problem at the minute, which you may be able to hear, so I'm just gonna do my best, and I'm going to run through the things that I think are important. I'm not going to do every single thing because there's way too many options in this game. If you want to see everything, you can just pause as we go through and just, pick out the things that you want, but I'll specifically talk about the things that I think are important. So, invert vertical look. I have this off. This is what most of you will have, or will want to have rather. This is so you can press up to look up and press down to look down. Some of you out there will like it the other way round. If you like flight sims and stuff, you may press up to look down, etc. So you'll have it on, but for most of you, have it off. Then we have soldier aim sensitivity. This is a personal preference thing. Find what works for you, but this is how quickly it is for you to look around. Not aiming down sight, just your soldier. As you're running around, how quickly you look about. I have mine on 50%. Then soldier zoom aim sensitivity. This is in ADS when aiming down sight. I have mine at 90%. Again, it's what you want, you should go for. Play around with it, see what works for you. The higher you have it, the more quickly you can respond to things, but the lower you have it, usually the more precise you can be with your aim. So, when you're aiming, if you're over-aiming, watch your gameplay back if you can. If you're missing the target because you're flying past them, you've got it too high. If it's taking you too long to get to the target, then you've got it on too low. So, adjust it as you need to. Soldier sprint, I have this on toggle. This is what most games have. If you want to hold down the stick, or whatever it is that you run with, then have it on hold. Most of you will be toggle. I like toggle. That's just press it to run, and then you can just run about as you wish, and then toggle it off when you're done. Double tap forward to sprint, again I have off. This will be most of you. If you enjoyed playing Minecraft on console, I think that was double press to go forwards, or to run rather. So you may prefer to have it on, but I have it off. Soldier weapon zoom, I have this on hold. This is holding the left trigger, or again, whatever it is you use. Again, I'll keep saying this as we go through, just to reiterate. Most of you will have it on hold. This is how most FPS games are as default. But if you want to just press it to zoom in, and then press it again to zoom out, you want it on toggle. Me personally, hold. Steady scope. Honestly, I have it on hold rather. Well, first flub, first mess up of the video. That'll happen a lot. I have this on hold. This is what I'm used to. It means if I hold down the left stick, it steadies my aim, steadies the breathing. Some of you may want to play around with having it on toggle, to be honest, because that's probably easier to use long term. You just press it, your guy starts holding his breath, press it off, he's done. That's probably easier and better for your aim. I may switch that one day, but currently I have it on hold because I'm used to it. Request skip revive, that's just hold the button to die out, to burn out, whatever you want to call it. Toggle if you want, just make it easy. This isn't a big one, it's up to you. Vehicle aim sensitivity. I have this on the same as my soldier aim sensitivity for obvious reasons. It's up to you what you want, but I like to keep things as consistent as possible to build up good muscle memory. Vehicle weapon zoom, again, hold, same thing, holding to zoom in. Invert vertical flight, again, I have it off. If you had invert vertical look on, then you probably want invert vertical flight on as well. This is for when you're this is for when you're in planes. So if you press up, you'll go down. If you press down, you'll go up. But if you're like me and you want it the same as your soldier, so just press up to go up, then you want that off again there. We'll go across now from basic at the top to control schemes. Not much for me to go over here. It shows you exactly what's going to change when you switch things around. The only thing I alter here is soldier buttons. I have an alternate because I like to slide with the right stick. If you've watched my gameplay, I slide a lot. I think sliding is very, very important, as well as jumping and just being evasive in FPS games. You don't want to be an easy target to hit. So I have it an alternate so I can slide around with the stick, and then I melee with B. Most people will be on the default, but you can play around with it with whatever you like. That's my go-to. And then down here, obviously, as I say, if you push things around, it will show you how it's going to change. Just find your best setup. Across from control schemes to advanced, aiming left-right acceleration. So, how to explain this? I have this on 100% because, again, I'm used to it. That's just how I like to play. I'm not going to mess with my muscle memory. This is how I've played for the entirety of BF1 and BF5. Now, if you want this to feel like, I believe, old-style COD games and such like, or feel like, I guess, a lot of other FPS games out there, then you want this down on 0%, or find what works for you in between somewhere. Essentially what this does is, if you hold down the stick to aim, to look around, the longer you hold it for, the faster it will go. Now usually, I would say to have this off. This is something I'd normally have off, unless I was used to it, because I like to keep things consistent. But I'm just used to this, so that works for me. Again, you have a play with it. Uniform soldier aiming. This tries to mirror the aiming speed and sensitivity across all weapons and things in the game. Again, trying to keep things consistent. If you don't want that, then fine, have it off. But I like to have it on, and the coefficient is how fast that is overall. As you can see there on the right, it says fine-tune the uniform soldier aiming. If enabled, a greater value results in a higher sensitivity at higher zoom levels. Me, I have it on the default, I think that's the default, 133%. Aiming left-right acceleration in vehicles, same thing, not going to explain that, same thing in vehicles. Vehicle, wow, words, Jesus. This is a long one. I'm going to lose my breath doing this, and the cat just jumped off the side. Can you keep quiet, Jeb? Good girl. So, vehicle aim relative controls. This is to enable or disable aim relative controls in vehicles with turrets, as you can see on the side there. I'm not much of a vehicle user, so I can't really advise you too much. But I like to keep things, as I say, as consistent as possible. You can have a read of that, see if it's going to work for you. This might be important considering Firestorm has vehicles in it. I'm going to have to get more used to using vehicles now because they're going to be very important. Decouple aiming from turning as driver. So, when you're trying to aim your gun in a vehicle while you're driving it, this keeps it so as you are driving around, the aim is consistent with that. That's very hard to explain. The actual official explanation there, decouple turret aim from vehicle rotation. Set this to off to allow the driver crosshair position to move accordingly when turning the vehicle. So it keeps them kind of separate if you have it off, right? Does that make sense? If you have it on, it keeps the crosshair at its current position even when turning the vehicle. I hope that makes sense. You're going to have to play around with it. It's a very hard one to explain. Decouple aiming from turning as passenger. Now I have this on. I want to keep my crosshair exactly where it is, regardless of what the driver's doing. This is going to be personal preference again. Decouple pilot free look. Very similar sort of thing for the free look in a plane. I only have this on if you're then going to create your own inputs for it with other settings. Because as you can see at the bottom here, it says setting this on without remapping Without remapping free look buttons or sticks is not recommended and will result in overloading inputs. Nobody wants overloading inputs, and again, I am sorry about me messing my words up. It's a very, very long recording. I have this off because I don't really fly planes and I don't want to overload the inputs, and I'm just used to how it works. Those of you that are pilots out there will know whether you want it on and off. Have a play with it. But further down, all the sensitivities I just have on this. I use uniform soldier aiming anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's not affected. I keep it all consistent. If you find anything to be too quick or too slow based on the level of zoom, then have a play around with it. Again, consistency for me is key. Plane control sensitivity, that's just, when you fly in a plane, how sensitive it is, whatever's best for you. And then these, I have them on 100%. Again, it's, like I say, consistency, and I don't use vehicles much. I may tune these a little bit as I'm playing Firestorm, because I'll be using vehicles more. Soldier aim ratio. This didn't used to be in the game. I have mine on default because I'm used to how the game plays. If you want it higher, then At 100%, as it says on the right, the crosshair moves the same distance when aiming vertically as it does when aiming horizontally. So if you have this on the max setting, it will have your horizontal and vertical aim moving at the same speed. Most games don't do this, so it just depends on the individual whether you want that or not. This goes up way higher than 100% though, I believe. Yeah, it does. It goes way over. So you could, I believe, have it where your vertical look is faster than your horizontal look. Not sure why you'd want that, but if you do, then so be it, I guess. Let's just have that down there. Or I'm not sure what I just said, but whichever way around it actually is in game. I can't keep track of what I just said to you. But yeah, I'm sure you understand. Controller tuning we've gone to. Vibration on because I'm used to it. I like the feedback of having the vibration. I've always played that way since PlayStation 2, so it's what I want. It feels weird to me to not have vibration. I feel like I don't really know I'm being shot because I'm used to it. But if you can get used to it yourself, have it off. If you have it off, it won't mess with your aim, which is very, very important because you don't have another thing to deal with when you're trying to aim. So I have it on. That's going to be good for some people, but if you can have it off, then please do. Dead zone stuff here is just how much you have to press down the sticks to get them to react. This is mine specifically. I can't advise you on this. You're going to have to see what works for you. The lower you have it, the less you have to press to get a reaction. The quicker things will work. These are my specific ones. It's up to you what you want to do. Down here, I have these on 0%. This is how much you have to press the triggers and such like to get them to work out that you're pressing. I want quick reactions, so if I press down the trigger to aim or fire, I want it to happen as quickly as possible. I'm not sat here accidentally pressing the triggers at all, so I don't have to worry about it. Again, it's going to be up to you how you want yours to be. Did I just do everything on there? I think so. So we're going to go to gameplay. Jesus, this is long. Feel my pain, guys. Feel my pain for how extensive this is. I'm doing it for you. And my sorry voice. Jesus Christ. Right. Couple swallows. Oh, not what I meant. Ignore that. I was just... Let's carry on. Show HUD. Right. I have this on. You want to see what's going on screen. If you want to take cinematic pictures and such like, then have it hidden. But for most of you want it on so that you're getting the information from the game. Pretty obvious. This is a big one. HUD motion on/off. I have it off. I don't want the HUD moving around the screen. I want it still. I want the game to move, but not the information. It makes it harder for you to track it with your eyes, and also gives something else on screen that will put you off. Have this off if you like it that way. Please, try it out. I think it's a very good idea. Unimportant Chatlog. This is just the thing up in the top left. I have it when active, so it pops up when people are saying things. Off the rest of the time, so it doesn't get in the way. Magnified chat, not very important. These are just personal preference. Inventory comes up when active. Again, I don't want things on screen unless they're relevant. So this is down the bottom right, showing you your weapon, your ammo, your gadgets, etc. That pops up when I use things, but the rest of the time it's off. Kill log. Have this on. Have this on. I think when the game released, this was off as default. I don't know why. I don't know what the default is now, but have this on. This is the top right showing you who's getting kills. So I have this on because you need to know what's happening around you. I also have the kill log filtered to all, so I know everything that's going on in the game at the time. This is probably going to be more so for multiplayer than Firestorm, but still. This gives me a good idea of the flow of battle. Some people prefer to have it on teams, so they know what's going on with their specific team, or squad, or I believe a self, or nearby, that's what I was going to say, but self is just your own. I guess if you want to get easy kill feeds, it's kind of cheating, but whatever. Nearby this is the one a lot of people recommend. So you just know what's happening around you, who's dying around you. That is a good thing to consider, but I have all because that's how I just play my games, and like I say, I like to know everything that's happening in the game. Kill log weapon icon, this just shows the weapon that's being used. You can have it as the name of the weapon if you want, you can have it both, you can have it icon, just whatever, I have an icon. Sorry, I'm trying to clear my throat again. Score log weapon name on shows the weapon in the log when things happen. Very basic stuff. I don't think most of this is relevant, these are just messages popping up on screen. Overlay shadow strength. This is because of the text in the game. It doesn't usually stand out, let's say, on the background very well. So if you want more of an overlay shadows, you can see it more easily, have it higher. Mine works on about 40%. It's going to depend on you, your eyes, your brightness setting, your hue, all that sort of stuff. Loadout mirroring. This is for both sets of factions. So if I set a loadout on allied faction, it will then be mirrored on Axis. That's going to be better for the vast majority of people. If you want to create specific loadouts for historical accuracy or whatever, then have it off. But if you just want to go for gameplay and having the same thing when you're using either side, then you want it on. Further down, I want the crosshair as visible as possible. I can't see any reason to lower it, but it's up to you. My crosshair is green because I can spot it very easily on screen. Get something that really attracts your eyes so that you're focused on where your crosshair is at all times. These are just the sight colors, or sorry, this is the sight glow when you're using the reflex or Nyandas sight, certain sights that are in the game, and just the colors that you use, you can change these to whatever you want. Not important, to be honest, just your personal preference. Hit indicator visibility, these are the hit markers. You want to see them. You want to know they're happening, so I keep them on 100%. I have the headshot color as something different. So headshots can be very important in the game. So I have them on yellow so I know I'm actually hitting the head. And then kill color on red so I know when they've died. It's going to be up to you what you want. Some people change the hit color and all sorts so they know when they're specifically hitting. The hit mark's enough for me in white, I can tell, but you know, whatever works best for you. Damage base shape, you can see what it says on the side, you can tweak that around. Armor, so I know when I'm hitting armor, specifically with vehicles, etc. Right, I've just done a cut because I went through this bit but it was terribly explained. So, for your minimap, I have it on 50%. That's just what I like it, so that I can see it's there, but I can also see through certain things, etc. It's going to be whatever's best for you. Rotate with view, yes, I want the minimap to point the direction that I'm looking in. Keeps things consistent, so I know exactly what's where. Then these, how zoomed in or out they are. The more zoomed out it is, the more you can see of the map. So if you want to see a huge amount of it, then do so, but you then can't see things up close in as detailed a fashion. It's about finding the sweet spot. These are what work for me, okay? But it's going to be whatever works best for you is what's important. And the map size, I have it bigger than than the default rather, so I can see it more clearly. And then this just shows heavy weapons on the map. You can have them, all of them, just heavy, whatever you want. Stationary rather than just heavy. Down here, icon opacity, I just have them all on that so I can see them very clearly. Most of these aren't important, to be honest. Yeah, it's just how clearly you can see through certain things on the map, different indicators and such like. Alright, moving on. Advanced, we're getting there. God, I'm running out of breath. I really am. Soldier auto leaning, so this is when you aim in when looking around a corner, it will lean around. If you don't want that to happen automatically, then have it off. If you want it to happen automatically, have it on. I have it on. I also have the same thing for peeking over things. Parachute deploying on its own because I don't want to jump out of something and die because I'm an idiot. Further down, none of these are overly important. Actually, plane chase camera roll, again for pilots. Choose whether the plane's third-person chase camera rolls with the plane. I have that on. Most people have it on. Soldier aim assist. This applies to multiplayer. I'll just read the definition so you have a good understanding. Choose whether infantry weapon aim slowed down. Should I try that again? Choose whether infantry weapon aim slows down when the reticle is over an enemy target and gets sticky to it. The higher the number, the stronger the aim assist effect. So, the higher up you go, the more sticky your aim is when you aim at someone. If you have it all the way down the bottom, you're going to get no aim assist. This is a personal preference thing. This applies specifically to multiplayer. It's going to be up to you. If you want to have it sticking to targets like really, really hardcore so that it's easier to hit your shots, then 100%. If you want more of your own aim doing it and not being dragged off certain people when you're aiming and people cross over each other, then have it down near the bottom. Soldier aim assist zoom snap. This is just for single player. I don't play single player, so I don't mess around with it. This just snaps you to the target when you aim in. It's up to you. If you want it down at similar to multiplayer, then have it down near the bottom. Yeah, I don't play single player, so it doesn't apply to me. Same thing with vehicles here. I don't really use them, so it's not really altered anything particularly. These are just the hints on screen telling you to reload, etc. I have them on. You can have them off if you want. These are just the performance graph telling you how your game's performing, how your network connection is. I have it off because I don't want things on screen bothering me, but it's up to you if you want it on show always, etc. I'm saying etc. a lot, by the way. I apologize. That's probably getting really irritating. Aim lead indicator. This is for, it will tell you if your connection isn't great, so you need to aim ahead of the target a bit more to compensate for it. And that covers the advanced gameplay section. What are we at? 21 minutes. Jesus Christ. Audio. I have the game as loud as it can be. Obviously, you can just change this with your own TV controls or headset, etc. But I have the music off purely because I'm a content creator. I don't want the in-game music mixing with the music I put on. Most of you will just want this on. Most of this will just want this on rather for extra atmosphere, and so you know when the game is sort of running down at the end. I was going to say etc. again. I really was. Sound preset. This is for whether you're using speakers, headphones, or that sort of stuff. I use 3D headphones because I think that's the best one for me to hear people around me. I think that's very important. If you heard the term sound whoring, this for me is the best one. You'll have to play around if you're not sure, but that's the one that I and many others recommend, specifically for headphones. Down, in-game announcer on. VoIP, choose to listen and speak to your squad. On, if you want to do that. If you don't, off. Very simple. Subtitles, don't need all that. No, cool, that's audio covered. Video, my brightness is high, it's on 90%. That's just what I use. Again, it's going to be down to you what you like. I like that because it helps me to see in the dark areas, obviously. This game doesn't have great visibility, so I think that's quite important, but that's my personal preference. Field of view, the higher you have this rather, the more you see in your peripheral vision. So the more of your events that you see. I have it on 70% because that's my current sweet spot. I change it over time. I may put it higher so I can see more of the external field of view. Put it high to see more, but not so much that it becomes blurry and distorted. And also not so much that you can't really focus on what's going on. If you've got too much going on screen, you're not going to be able to focus on what you should be looking at in the middle and aiming at. Alright, so your sweet spot is what's going to matter. Vehicle 3D field of view, same sort of thing, but for vehicles. The wider you have it out, the more you can see when you're in a vehicle. ADS field of view. So this is the same sort of thing I just described, but when you're aiming down sight. I have this off. I want it consistent when I aim down sight. If you want to play around with that, cool, but off is what I recommend. Have this motion blur off. Unless you just specifically like motion blur, have it off. When you spin round, you'll get that kind of thing where it's trying to replicate the real world and your vision will go blurry. I don't see the benefit of that in a video game, if you're just looking for performance, okay? So having that off just keeps everything nice and crisp regardless of what you're doing, how you're spinning around, looking, all that sort of stuff. That's a big one, I think that's important. This one also, ADS depth of field effects. This is whether you can see basically outside your scope when you're aiming in. Off is going to be better for performance, because if you're hard scoping something with a sniper or semi-auto, you're only going to see what's down your sight if you have this on, okay? Which will give you tunnel vision. You don't want that. If you have it off, you can at least still see somewhat what's going on around you, so you can react to it. Only have that on if you like it for realism, or if it really helps you to focus in on what you're aiming at for some reason, but off is going to be better for the vast majority of people. Custom color settings, unimportant, it's up to you. And I turn all of these effects off because, again, I'm just going for performance. I don't want all this pretty weird stuff on. I think it can affect in-game performance, not just for you, but for the game itself. It gives it more to process, and this just makes it easier for me to look at what's going on, just focus on the gameplay. And with that said, apologies for all my flubs, my poor voice, my throat's killing me. But I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything of importance, so I hope you find that useful. I hope you enjoy Firestorm and or the Battlefield 5 multiplayer. This is my updated settings guide for Battlefield/Firestorm, and I hope you enjoyed, hope it's helpful. Please feel free to like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and join my Discord server in the description and a pinned comment. Here's the Board of Awesome for the epic people who support the channel on Patreon. They're all absolute heroes and love them all deeply and often. If you want to join them on the Board of Awesome, the link to the Patreon page is in the description and my pinned comment. But with that all said, I'm Get Good Guy, and I'll see you next time. Laters.